Welcome to Sacred Soul Speak. I'm your host, Goddess the Guru. Let's jump right into it, shall we? So this is a part 2 to my Magic Sword episode. I had no intention of making a part 2. However, in that episode, I was giving this channeled message, and at the end, I briefly felt called to touch on the astrology of the current energy. Finished, edited, posted the episode, moved about my business. Then, a few days later, I was listening to one of the audios in the Pattern app, which I'm a big fan of. They're not sponsoring this, so I won't go too much into why I love them. But I was listening to one of the audios on there, and it was talking about Neptune moving into Aries. When I tell you this was the biggest aha light bulb moment, completing the picture and seeing it with greater clarity, it was like this piece was missing, and it was like aha. In terms of the astrology of the moment, this was definitely the missing piece, and it was definitely a major piece. So at the end of that video, I talked about how we were moving into Aries season, how we were in Mercury retrograde in Aries, and in the middle of an eclipse season. All of those things definitely contributed to the energy I was speaking of. By the way, obviously, if you haven't listened to that episode, please go listen to it first and then come back to this one. Thank you. So, all of those things were relevant, but Neptune moving into Aries, preparing to move into Aries at the time that I was recording, all of those astrological transits played a role. All of those astrological transits had an impact. And Neptune preparing to move into Aries also played a huge role in that energy. And still does, obviously, because Neptune stays in a sign for 14 years. So buckle up, Buttercup. Okay, let's get into it for real. So Neptune can rule our dreams, our vision, our ideals. It can rule empathy and heart-centered connections, mass movements. It can also rule propaganda, illusion, dissociation, escapism, drug, deception, confusion. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is a warrior. It's this noble warrior energy. It can be more impulsive definitely than Pisces, which Neptune has been in Pisces. Aries is associated with war, with fire energy, with assertion of will, with taking action. And to provide some context, the last time that Neptune entered Aries, we had the American Civil War. If I didn't say this already, Neptune has this very spiritual, very deeply spiritual energy around it. And so when you combine that spiritual energy and it being associated with visions and ideals, and you combine it with that Aries warrior energy, we feel compelled to take action on our spiritual beliefs. And if we're doing this from a grounded and high vibrational stance, this can be us being spiritual warriors via sharing wisdom and the power of our words, helping to raise the frequency, inspiring change, stepping into purpose and destiny, actively resisting, fighting injustice and imbalance. But the shadow side of this is spiritual narcissism, a lack of tolerance, aggression, weaponized belief, propaganda, ideologies that are extreme and leave us ready to wage literal war and even die for what we believe in. And this is such an extreme shift because Neptune was in Pisces, so it moved from mutable water to cardinal fire. It moved from something that is emotional and malleable to a fire energy that can feel unrelenting and unyielding. Neptune in Aries is giving choose a side. It's giving new earth. There's a line, an actual line drawn in the sand. It's giving stand up for what you believe in an actionable way. It's giving put your money where your mouth is. It's giving don't talk about it, be about it. And when it's unbalanced, it's giving if you got a problem with my values and the things I stand for, you can meet me outside. For the chosen ones who are already spiritual warriors, this is a time of activation, right? Like I said, we have this Neptunian spirituality and this Aries warrior energy. It's giving spiritual warrior. The chosen are spiritual warriors. And this time of activation can bring a heightened awareness of the separation of frequency. Like I said, new earth energy. You may feel a greater distance between yourself and those with differing beliefs than you. And this can be friends, co-workers, family members, etc. that you have, I want to say, flown under the radar with. And when I say flown under the radar with, I mean there's an understanding that you and this person do not hold the same values. But I feel like with Neptune and Pisces, which we've moved away from, but in the past, it's almost like you've been able to overlook or ignore this and just coexist peacefully and whatever. Okay. I'm getting the vision of, maybe this is a bad example, whatever, I'm going to go with it. So I'm getting Bloods and Crips, and there's like two people, maybe one of them, their whole family is Bloods, the other one, their whole family is Crips, but neither of them are that, even though they're associated, they're not initiated, right? And so they see each other and they can recognize like, oh, his family is from the opposite gang or whatever. But I'm getting like pumping gas. Okay, so they're pumping gas, they see each other, it's whatever. They both pump their gas, they go their own way, it's whatever. There's peace. And this was more so the Neptune Pisces. But now, with Neptune and Aries, which this just happened on March 30th, with Neptune and Aries, it's like, no, where are you from? If there's no, like, well, you're not causing trouble for me, I'm not going to cause none for you, like, I'm just trying to get where I'm going, I'm gonna leave it alone. Like, we know we don't share the same beliefs, or we don't come from the same place, or we're from rival, but whatever, it's whatever. But now it's like, no, it's not whatever. It's giving what sets you claim where you're from, period. That's it. That's all I want to know, that's all I want to hear. And then what happens after that is going to be determined by your answer, period. It's very much giving squabble up. Maybe this is just me, but that's what it's giving. Okay, anyway, so right now, ideals of justice and fairness and righteousness are being highlighted with this heightening of spiritual energy. There's less tolerance for misalignment, right? That's kind of the Boy Crips thing, but this is deeper, right? This is about our ideals. There's less tolerance for misaligned ideals. So you could be in a space, somebody is, let's say, they're giving bully energy, but they don't have a problem with you. Like, low-key, they respect you, but they're bullying somebody else. You gonna step to that bully under this, and I'm not gonna say you gonna step to that bully. I'm not gonna declare that. I take that back. But it's giving, that's what you want to do. That's what you feel called. That Aries energy is like, alright, yeah, that energy is like, you might not have a problem with me, but you know what, now I have a problem with you. I have a problem with the energy that you're coming with, and I'm gonna need you to check that shit. That's what it's giving. Don't get me wrong, the Mercury retrograde in Aries, with it also being Aries season and also eclipse season, these things also added to that. But this Neptune in Aries definitely adds to it as well. And so with all of this energy swirling around, I think that's why I was getting this message to kind of like low, kind of just skillfully avoid conflict. Because with this energy, it's important that you're mindful that you're not going to war over everything. Especially because you are set apart spiritually. When I say set apart, okay, so I'm getting lots of visions right now. I'm getting the vision of the food pyramid. And it's like the majority is at the bottom, but there's a select few at the top. So if you have a high level of consciousness and you are at the top of this pyramid, then it's almost like everyone in the categories below you could potentially be at war with. This is why it's so important to use discernment and be mindful that your actions are aligned with your desired result, what outcome, because if you don't want to be at war with everything and everyone, I almost want to say below you in terms of this, pyramid analogy, but it's not below you in terms of I'm better than you. It's not that. Like all analogies and metaphors, this is an oversimplification, but the point is to be mindful that you are not going to war over everything. This is a time to actualize your dreams. There may be visions that the divine put on your heart, in your mind's eye, visions and dreams that you've been thinking about and you've been talking about that you've been feeling called to take action on. And maybe you took a little action here or there, but it didn't actualize, you didn't follow through, whatever the case may be. Now is the time to commit and make it happen. Now is the time for you to live in and stand in your truth with conviction. Step into your full power and be the change you wish to see in order to inspire continued change for generations to come. Again, the old is falling away. I was saying in the last episode, this power is the stuff of revolutions. And that makes sense. We are in a time of revolution. And revolutions often are not peaceful. There will be fire, there will be casualties. And what I'm getting for the casualty is the old paradigm, the old timelines, the outdated timelines. They are falling away. We are creating the world we want to see. And it is up to all of us to do our part. And by the way, speaking of revolutions and this warrior energy, I also feel called to say that Uranus will be entering Gemini this year in the summer. And during that time, we had World War II and the U.S. Revolutionary War. So there may be a heightening of this energy in July when Uranus enters Gemini. So I felt called to share all of that with you. And right now I feel very called to highlight that it feels like the divine is acknowledging this is a very delicate balance. You have this fire energy ready for war, and this fire energy is very necessary for this next stage. And, like I said in the last episode, fire needs to be contained. And it is up to you to contain your own fire. And that requires sometimes taming it, but also ensuring that you're not putting it out. And also getting acquainted with what your fire energy actually is today. Before, the totality of your fire energy was an ember because it was suppressed and smothered by so many for so long. And now it burns wild and powerful and free and bright. And it's important that you tend to it, get to know it, befriend it, and then also pull it in, rein it in. It's yours and it's necessary and it's meant to be used. And it's powerful because you're a powerful being and you're here to create and to inspire powerful, powerful, powerful change. I'm getting everlasting change that lives on. I'm getting even like a ripple effect, way past your human life this time around, way past that. The change that you are inspiring and will inspire is sustainable, necessary, and divine. This is why your fire is so powerful. And this is a time energetically where it feels like people are just slanging gasoline around. So tend to your fire and be mindful of it and get comfortable with it burning. Get comfortable with it burning bridges that need to be burned, burning things to the ground that need to be burnt to the ground. But be mindful that it doesn't burn down things that are meant to stay. Be mindful that it doesn't destroy you and everything on your path. And also I'm getting that this is not it. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a new relationship with your fire, and your fire will continue to grow. And as it grows, I'm getting a greater understanding of it, relationship with it, comfort with it, control of it. Hello? I'm getting fire dancers. Ooh. There's an energy of creativity and sensuality and spirituality and freedom. It's beautiful. And as you show the divine that you can be entrusted to contain your own fire, it will continue to grow and you'll continue to build that relationship with it, continue to get to know it. If you're coming from a disempowered place, if you're coming from a place where you were scared to even honor your desires to yourself in secret and private, to speak your desires, then speaking them in front of someone else feels like a big thing. But that's nothing in compared to pursuing them and achieving them and creating them and loving them boldly, honestly, fearlessly. My point is, there's levels to this. It can feel like the time for being passive and peaceful is dead and gone. That's done. That's over. And yet, it is my true desire that you find peace, that you find contentment in your restraint, that you hold your head high and smile, smirk even, knowing that you can and will burn this shit to the ground if and or when there's a divine calling to. May this fire and this quiet power keep you warm and bring you security and peace. May you walk with your head held high. May you walk like the God that you are. And may you take divine inspired action in divine timing. Ashe. I love you.